So how do you get to be a colorist? You know, everyone has different paths. Me personally, I went to film school. I happened to walk by an editor working on something in a different class, and I saw some of these scopes that you see in the corner when people are working on color grading. So I saw a vector scope, I saw a waveform monitor, and probably a parade, an RGB parade. And I thought, wow, that looks really cool. It's so scientific and interesting, and I kind of want to know more about that. And I didn't pursue it until later on, when some footage came back for a short film I was directing that was wrong white balance. No one I knew wanted to or could fix it, and so I said, okay, I'm just gonna hop on lynda.com, learn about color grading, or color correction, I should say, in Premiere at the time, which was a long time ago, and just get the basics. And I really got an understanding of, this is where you start. This is what you should be looking for. This is what the image should look like if you want it to look good. Sort of the basics. And from there, I came to each job that I had, sort of started wanting to work in production as a DP or a director, really gained a lot of experience along those lines in college, learning about lighting and learning about directing and learning very little about post-production because I wasn't really interested in it. But when I started working, I started being put in a position where that was what I was there to do. I would go and help on a shoot, but I would spend the majority of my time in an office, in an edit suite, just working on random stuff that no one else really wanted to do or had time to do, or whatever it was. I was there to help. So I started really getting pushed into post-production and learned a lot about it just through being around it and doing it. Had access to a great color suite. I got to learn about calibration. I got to learn about color spaces, all the basic things you need to know to be a colorist. And that was my path. So my first real color grading job was coming into an agency as an assistant editor. And that was kind of my job, just an assistant editor. But through conversations I had with my boss, he began to understand, like, hey, this guy actually knows a little bit about color grading. He seems knowledgeable, and let's give it a shot. There was no harm done for me to spend some time on the three spots we had out at that time that we were working on. So I did, and he liked it. And it just went from there, where I started working on more projects, I started getting more experience, and it really came down to the fact that someone gave me a chance, which is hard to come by. If you are coming into color grading outside of an agency or outside of an environment where the work is plentiful and you can work on it in your spare time or whatever, it's gonna be a lot harder if you're a freelancer. But what you can do is, I hate to say work for free, but you can at least work on some shorter projects that won't take a crazy amount of time and just get some of that experience. It's all about your demo reel at the end of the day. People want to see your work. If it's not the demo reel, it's the finished pieces, but they have to know that you can do what you say you can do. So you have to really be able to back up. You have to walk the walk as well as talk the talk. So if you want to be a colorist, you have to start coloring. And if you're a freelancer, that's really unfortunate, because you have to work for free and you have to gain experience. But if you're in an agency or a production company where there's a little more freedom and you have access to the gear, then you can do more there, and you can do it while you're getting paid a salary. Bottom line, if you want to be a colorist and that's a passion for you, then you just have to do it. You have to gain the experience and you have to have the portfolio.